Hello everyone and welcome back to Lilymation, where we explore classic books and discover how their wisdom can guide us through modern challenges. Today we're diving into Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's enchanting 1943 novella, The Little Prince, a story that appears simple on the surface like a children's tale, but reveals profound insights about life, love, and human nature. Written by a French aviator during World War II, this book follows a young prince from a tiny asteroid as he travels the universe, encountering quirky adults and learning timeless lessons. In this video, we'll examine how the little prince's childlike perspective offers a gentle guide to healing from burnout in our hectic 2025 world. Personally, I adore this book because in my view, it captures the innocence we often lose as an adult, reminding us to pause and discover joy amid chaos. The writer, inspired by his own plane crash in Sahara Desert, drew his own illustrations, adding a personal touch that makes the story feel intimate. The famous quote, "What is essential is invisible to the eye," encapsulates its philosophy. In my opinion, applying this to 2025's burnout epidemic, fueled by endless hustles and digital overload, feels incredibly relevant. The Prince's encounters critique how grown-ups prioritize meaningless matters of consequences over true connections. We'll break it down thoroughly, a detailed journey through the Prince's adventures, thematic analysis with key quotes, and modern parallels for recovering simplicity and relationships. If you're feeling overwhelmed or just love philosophical tales, this is for you. Subscribe and hit the bell for more explanations like Alice in Wonderland or The Alchemist. Let's start with some context. The writer wrote this while in exile in America, reflecting on loneliness and wonder, emotions many of us know too well today. Let's embark on a comprehensive chapter-by-chapter journey through The Little Prince, highlighting character development, symbolic elements, and philosophical depth. This story begins with the narrator, a pilot who crashes in Sahara Desert. Much like Saint-Exupéry himself, frustrated with adults who misunderstand his childhood, drawing a sort of snake, I think a boa, digesting an elephant, which is seen as a hat, he meets the little prince, a golden-haired boy who asks him to draw a sheep. In my view, this opening is brilliant because it constructs childlike imagination with adult narrow-mindedness, a theme that resonates deeply with how burnout often stems from losing creativity. The prince hails from asteroid B612, a tiny planet where he cares for 3 volcanoes, a unique rose, and under a glass dome. He loves the rose deeply, despite her vanity and demands, watering her and protecting her from drafts. Symbolically, the rose represents fragile beauty and complex love. Personally, I think this relationship mirrors how we invest time in what matters, making it special. Baobabs threaten his planet's seeds that must be uprooted early, or they overrun everything, symbolizing neglected problems that grow destructive like unchecked stress leading to burnout. The prince leaves his planet heartbroken by the rose's pride and visits neighboring asteroids. First, a king who rules over everything but has no subjects, commanding only what happens naturally. The prince finds him absurd yet harmless. Next, a vain man craving admiration, clapping for applause despite being alone. Then a drunkard drinking to forget his shame, a vicious cycle the prince pities. On the 4th asteroid, a businessman obsessively counting stars to own them, blind to their beauty. In my opinion, these encounters are satirical masterpieces. The businessman specially critiques materialism, where possession replaces appreciation, much like scrolling metrics instead of enjoying moments. The fifth planet hosts a lamp lighter, faithfully lighting and extinguishing his lamp every minute due to the planet's rapid spin. The prince admires him most among adults, as his duty serves others, though it's exhausting. Finally, a geographer who records but never explores, recommending Earth. Personally, I love the lamplighter because he shows selfless devotion, a rare positive adult trait reminding us that meaningful work can prevent burnout if aligned with purpose. On Earth, the prince lands in the desert, meeting a snake offering to send him home with a bite. He encounters a garden of roses, realizing his isn't unique, causing sadness until understanding her singularity through care. The pivotal friendship forms with a fox, who asks to be tamed, building gradual trust. The fox teaches it is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important. And the iconic line about seeing with the heart. In my view, this taming scene is the book's emotional core. It profoundly illustrates how relationships create bonds invisible to others, essential for healing isolation. The prince also meets a railway switchman and a merchant selling thirst-quenching pills, critiquing efficiency over experience. Reflecting on his rose, the prince decides to return home, allowing the snake's bite, symbolizing acceptance of loss for growth. The pilot, a repaired plane ready, mourns the prince's departure but gains renewed wonder. Thematically, the book explores innocence versus adulthood, responsibility in love, and discovering essentials. Personally, the ending always moves me. It's bittersweet, urging us to look at stars and remember connections. Now, let's connect the Little Prince's wisdom to healing burnout in 2025, where constant productivity, remote work, fatigue, and social media pressures leave many exhausted. The absurd adults on Asteroids represent grown-up fixations that fuel burnout. The king's futile control, like micromanaging bosses. The vain man's need for validation akin to chasing likes. The drunkard's cycle mirroring addictive copying. The businessman's ownership obsession reflects hustle culture's metrics over meanings. In my opinion, the lamplighter's endless duty perfectly captures occupational burnout, repetitive tasks without rest. The prince's childlike wonder encounters this by valuing simplicity. Sunsets, drawing stars. For healing, embrace his approach. Rediscover play like drawing or stargazing to combat adults' seriousness. The fox's taming is profound advice against hustle isolating us. In 2025, prioritizing deep relationships over superficial networking, schedule time for friends, waste hours building bonds. Personally, I believe this combats loneliness epidemic. Taming creates responsibility and joy. The rose teaches self-care, nurture what you love even if demanding, like setting boundaries for recharge. Baobabs warn against ignoring small stresses. They grow into crises. Practice mindfulness or journaling early. Overall, this book suggests burnout arises from forgetting essentials, connection, beauty, heart seeing. In my view, its message for 2025 is transformative. Slow down, tame meaningful ties, heal through simplicity. As we conclude this deep exploration of The Little Prince by Anthony de Saint-Exupéry, if I'm pronouncing it right, 1943 gem shines as a beacon for healing burnout in our overwhelming era. From Asteroid encounters critiquing adult absurdities to the fox's lessons on taming and hard vision, the story gently urges reclaiming childlike wonder and genuine connections. Personally, I cherish this book because, in my opinion, its simplicity holds profound power, reminding us that true healing comes from seeing essentials invisible to hurried eyes. In 2025, amid hustle and screams, apply the Prince's Guide. Nurture relationships, uproot small stresses, cherish beauty. If this resonated, comment your favorite quote or burnout tip, share with someone needing wonder, and subscribe to Lilymation for more classics. As the prince says, you become responsible forever for what you have tamed. Thank you for joining me. May you find your stars shining brighter.